This is another episode of me documenting the day-to-day process that I'm taking to achieve long-term consistency in the financial markets. And today is another 2R losing day. My third consecutive losing day in a row. My sixth losing day this month, with only one green day on the month. So before we get to the breakdown, before we talk about my performance and what's going on, I want to talk about what's going on outside of the markets, because what's going on outside of the markets is 100% going to influence your decision-making intraday. And in one way or another, all of us, it doesn't matter. Every single trader, in one way or another, experiences some form of external pressure, external influence on their trading journey that just puts this stress and this burden, this pressure to have to make this trading thing work and have to make money right now. The problem is that if you are focused on making money in trading, you tend to get the exact opposite outcome. And if you're a profitable trader, you know this. And if you're a struggling trader, you probably don't know this, and you're struggling to grasp that. But that is just the fundamental truth of trading. If your main objective is to come to market and make money, you will not make money. The problem is that we all deal with some form of external pressure in one way or another that makes us feel like we need to make money right now. And that's going to influence our decisions that we make intraday. Now, what's going on outside of the markets for me is I'm in a transition period. Whenever I'm in a transition period, I'm just met with a big decision that I have to make on determining like what's next, like what life path am I going to take. So basically, I'm living at my grandparents right now. I don't have to pay for rent. I'm good. All I have to pay for is my food and my gas. Fortunately, I'm blessed enough for my parents to take care of my car payment and car insurance. I literally just have to provide for myself in terms of food and gas and like moving around the city. That's it, which comes out to about $400 to $500 a month. That's not bad at all, and I have money saved up, plenty to cover that. Like, I'm good on that. The thing is I have a cousin that is moving into my grandparents' house in the next 2 weeks, so I'm getting kicked out. Now I have two options. Number one, go back home, continue to live rent-free, or number two, get my own place. Each option comes with pros and cons. So I'm sitting here, I'm using my rational mind to determine the pros and cons of each decision. But at the same time, I'm also trying to figure out what my intuition is telling me to go with and what my soul is telling me to go with, because ultimately that's going to be the right decision. Like, you could think with a rational mind all you want, but intuitively you're going to know what decision you should make for yourself. So when I see myself back at home in the situation that I used to be, where I've already struggled a lot on this trading journey, I see it in my mind as kind of like a distorted image. Like, I can see myself back there and the things that I would be doing and just living there, but it's kind of distorted and blurry. Now, if I see myself at the apartment, I can see myself creating in my own independent space, like just me and me, just grinding, just working, just building, creating in my own space, and I can see it very clearly. So that kind of tells me that my soul is possibly leaning more towards getting the apartment, right? Now, here's the thing. If I were to go back home, pro, save money, right? I'm not going to pay for rent. Con, there's another external influence, which is my own mother. She is not supportive of my journey at all. She has straight up told me to my face that I am going to fail. I'm going to lose my ass at this. And she thinks that I have no idea what I want to do with my life. And honestly, I feel like she just sees me as like a degenerate because I want to trade. Like, just for her, making money trading is just not in her perception at all. Like, she does not even believe that can possibly be a thing. She doesn't think that can happen at all. So she thinks that I'm a degenerate for wanting to do this. She doesn't believe in the trading. She doesn't believe in me. And she thinks I'm going to fail. And she kind of like, I feel like she just doesn't like me because I'm not doing what she wants me to do with my life. So, I'm taking my own route. I'm not really listening to the things she's telling me to do because I know what I want to do with my life. This is my life. I feel like she does not like me because I'm not doing what she thinks I need to do with my life. I'm taking my own route. So I have that, another form of external pressure at home. And I've already dealt with that many, many times. She's always on my ass about, you need to do this, you need to do that, while I'm living there at home. And while I'm living under her roof, I feel like I'm like 100% at her will, Now, if I move out and get my own apartment, the thing is I have just enough money, if not maybe a little bit less, to cover a 12-month lease and all the living expenses associated with it, which would be the rent itself, all the fees associated with the apartment, utilities, water, internet, and then food and gas. Now I have just enough, just a little bit under that, to cover that for a year. So it's difficult, you know? And at the same time, I'm thinking, do I go home and save money and save my money and not add another element of stress to my trading journey to have to make money right now by going back home and just saving money and kind of being, in a sense, comfortable, although I don't like to be in comfortable positions because I know discomfort is what leads to growth. If I go back home, there's not going to be any stress at all for me to have to hurry up and make money trading. Now, if I get the apartment, there is, because I barely have enough to cover that 12-month lease. But if I also think about it, the belief that I have in myself and the action that I take every single day, I know that I'm close. I know that I'm really, really, really fucking close, despite my performance that you see right now. Like, guys, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And I'm almost, am I 2.5 years in? I think I'm 2.5 years in. You know, I'm getting there. Like, I'm really fucking getting there. Mastering day selection, mastering higher time frame narrative, mastering my model, mastering me as the operator of the model. Like, I'm close. It kind of feels like I have not made money in so fucking long that the idea of money coming in from anything, literally from anything, not just from trading itself, just feels so abnormal. Like, I just don't know what that feels like. I haven't made money in so long. But I have a good amount of money saved up, and I invested in Bitcoin, so like I'm good. If I go back home and I don't pay rent, I'm good. If I do have to pay rent and live on my own, I have to make money. I have to make some money. So that's the predicament I'm in. And it's like, which situation do I choose, you know? So, like I said, or I think I said, like, in one way or another, all of us, we deal with some form of pressure that's going to make us skip a lot of the things that we know we need to be doing in our journey. For example, I was so set on following a process and just sticking to that months ago, like last October, right? But what happened? My own mom told me that I was going to fail, and I felt I was obligated to prove her wrong, so I skipped everything that I was doing, purchased an eval, and started attempting evals again, only to just continue to lose my ass and know that I'm not ready for an eval. So I was on my way. I was doing things the right way, following the process, not worried about making money. And then boom, mom comes in, tells you that I'm going to fucking fail. I get pissed off. I feel obligated to prove her wrong. What does that make me do? Skips the process, throws everything out of the window. And now here I am, focused on making money again, trying to purchase the eval and attempting that and failing. It's difficult, you know? I'm at a crossroads. Obviously, I have a big choice to make, and I have to probably come to a conclusion with what I should do by the end of tonight. But I'm just sharing this, just putting this out there because, you know, I'm just being real. Like, this is a part of the journey, and I know every single one of us has struggled with this in one way or another. It's just a part of the journey. It's just something that you have to go through. This is what shapes you into the trader that you need to become. At the same time, I feel like if I put myself in the uncomfortable position where I need to be making some fucking money, I feel like that's going to make me grow. And I feel like since I have an awareness of what putting myself in a position where I have to make money has done to me in the past in my trading career, where it's made me skip the process, like I just mentioned, now that I'm aware of that, I don't think it can necessarily be as much as an influence this time around. Because now I have a model. Back then I didn't have a model. Now I know exactly what I'm looking for when I come to the market. Back then I did not. And I know there's other ways that I can make money as well, if it comes down to that. I know that I could get it one way or another. And at the same time, the money that I have is in crypto. And crypto is bullish as fuck. So, with that out of the way, that's the predicament I'm in. You know, let me know you guys' input. If you've been in a similar situation in the past or on your trading journey, I would love to hear it too, and how you handled it and what happened as a result. You know, if you were just dead broke at one point in time, but you somehow made it work trading, you know, let me know. I would love to hear it. And I know those of you guys who are probably in the same position as me, trying to reach profitability, trying to achieve profitability, you know, y'all are probably going through with your own battle as well. We all go through it. It's a part of the process. I think the most important part is that we're aware of the problem that we're going through and aware of the effects that it has on us and how that impacts our decision making when we come to the market, and how you feel internally. You have to know yourself a lot, 100%. And that's something that I'm really good at, And I feel like I'm definitely leaning more towards getting my own apartment, getting my own independent space to create. And I think that's what I'm probably going to do. So this is 10 minutes have gone by now. If you're still watching this, you're a real one, because by now, 10 minutes into the video, I'm sure 90% of the people probably clicked off of this. But if you're still watching here, you're probably really serious about your trading journey as well. And you probably can relate to this in one way or another. All we can do is keep the intention of, making this work and keeping that dream alive, and keep showing up, putting in the work every single day. What else can you do? That's it. We all have mountains to climb, but all that matters is that we take one step closer each and every day. And that's it. So since this video is already 11 minutes long, we're going to do a quick recap of today and basically what happened. Okay. Long story short, you can see that this is what I noticed today. There's a lot of complexity in my approach to the market. Like, look at all this stuff that I'm writing. Like, it shouldn't be that. It should just literally be this. Today I am looking to be a seller because higher time frame narrative is bearish, and so is market criteria. So I want to do X at the open if price does X. Like, that's it, A lot of things that I do, if you watch my videos, I'm extremely analytical. If you can't tell, like, I have to know everything. But what I'm realizing is that simplicity is the highest form of sophistication, right? So if I can take all my processes that I'm doing right now and simplify them, then it's just going to give me a clear idea of what I'm doing wrong exactly and what I'm doing right, I believe. So the draw on liquidity that I established today, regardless of if it's bullish or bearish, I believe it can trade down to the new day opening gap. Why? Because from the higher time frame narrative, I'm thinking the low of week is confirmed by yesterday's price action. Today's an extension of that, setting up sell side pre-market overnight. That could form negative PGO, my bearish sell setup. At the same time, with the all-time high conditions, could be another large update. There you go, right there, the indecision. If you watch my videos, if you keep up with me, you know that if I come to the market with a split approach, what does this lead to? 10 out of 10 times. Every single time without fail, what does it lead to? It leads to losing trades. What happened today? Losing trades. So today presents nothing on the economic calendar. It's not likely to do much, be a smaller range than yesterday. Market criteria appears strong overnight, but presents smooth sell side as overextension yesterday. Shows the potential for negative PGO if it opens at the high day, and also plus PGO if it drops initially to take pre-market low. So I'm kind of indecisive, right? But here is where I'm trying to be very clear with myself what I want to do for the day, because I'm noticing what I'm doing all up in here. And I tell myself I'm not interested in buying the market if it opens at the high day and continues to trade up, because it's an overextension of the previous day range. And with higher time frame narrative being there's no news driver today but PPI tomorrow, this day could set up retracement or be a small range day for continuation Thursday. And then as I'm annotating my charts, I'm canceling out the other idea because I'm realizing what I'm doing and I'm trying to submit to that sell idea. So I just mention the sell idea only, and that's it, okay? So overextension of yesterday's range, it may want to rebalance Tuesday's impulse swing. Today's a setup continuation Thursday. Not really anything solid in here for price to grab onto, supporting the idea of potential rebalance. Overextension of yesterday's range, it may want to rebalance Tuesday's impulse swing to set up continuation Thursday. What's my draw on liquidity? If you notice my annotations in blue, that's what I highlight as my draw on liquidity. So we have pre-market sell side, new day opening gap, and we also have a large premium gap opening to support the bearish idea, opening at the high day. Okay, to the chart. I'll run through this really quick. Top down. Now my model is extremely dependent on higher time frame narrative. Chris, you are correct. This requires a lot of higher time frame narrative. I know I told you that I was going to drop a video on my model last weekend, but honestly, I don't feel comfortable with doing so until I have proven consistency with it, although I know it delivers. I want to master it first, get really, really good at it first, and then I'll put it out there and, teach it to anybody who wants to know, and also teach higher time frame narrative and how I arrive at that, everything and anything in between. So last week's candle settled near its high. That's bullish. So what do I want to see this week? I want to see it drop down into this down candle. because if the market's bullish, down candle support price. I want to see an open drop down, touch the down candle, and then trade higher. Market's bullish, we're at all-time highs. That's easily the narrative. So if I'm bullish on the week, ideally, Monday close in the opposite direction. Monday closes in the opposite direction of the draw on liquidity. So if I'm bullish, I want to see Monday be a down close candle. In this case, Monday is a down close candle. Tuesday overlaps that. That confirms the market is bullish. The low of the week is likely in. Now, this is literally the same setup that I took Thursday. Now, today I wasn't able to execute it, but I took this exact same setup Thursday. So my model repeats. It is there, and it does deliver like fucking crazy when it's there. And I'll show you. So we can see how this settled near its high, right? Now, today's range opened near the high of Tuesday's and was an overextension of that. Now, because there's nothing on the economic calendar, if we go to the economic calendar, we go to, okay, this event wasn't here when I looked at it this morning. I guess President Trump decided to speak. But anyways, there was no news driver. Tomorrow there's PPI. If there's no news driver today, but a high impact driver tomorrow, do we really expect today to be another large up close candle? Do we really expect it to be a day with a whole lot of volatility and another large move? No. The market's probably going to have a large move tomorrow when we have that injection of volatility, right? So that's framing narrative around the economic calendar. So if we drop down to the 4 hour, this is honestly better shown on, well, even on the 4 hour as well, you can see how this is starting to set up the low resistance liquidity run lower. Because look at these candles, right? They don't take each we have the one shallow run below that candle's low on this candle, but besides that, we can see that for the most part, these lows are kind of undisturbed, right? These lows are undisturbed. And we can see that this is where Tuesday closed on this candle on the 4 hour. This is where Wednesday opened, and it just kept trading up. So we have an overextension of Tuesday's impulse swing. If we go on the hourly, we can see how Tuesday settled near its high, right? Wednesday opened, and we see an overextension of this impulse swing right here. So when the market opens at the high of day and it sets up low resistance sell side in the overnight pre-market session, and we have an overextension of Tuesday daily high, and I know that there's nothing on the economic calendar, so today is probably not going to be another large up day. I am favoring the idea of the market wanting to rebalance this impulse swing, and it does that. If we go on the 15-minute time frame, we can note the smooth sell side liquidity in the overnight session. We have a pre-market range, perfect. It initially takes the high of the pre-market range, leaves the sell side smooth behind, opened at the high of day, and then reversed. Now, guys, this is literally the same exact setup that I took on Thursday. If I go and pull that up real quick. Last Thursday. Same narrative, same setup, same everything. Let's see if I can pull it up on. Okay, look, right? Wednesday, this is Wednesday and Thursday instead of Tuesday and Wednesday. But Wednesday, we have an impulse swing, settled near its high. We have an overextension of that in the overnight session that leaves smooth sell side, opens at the high of day, that's a 5 minute, and then breaks lower to rebalance that impulse swing. The same narrative, the same setup, same everything. That's a model. That's a playbook. It's literally the same exact move. This is what my model is based off of, just these moves that tend to repeat. So when the market opens at the high of day, I'm looking to be a seller if the market opens and continues to trade up. That is what you saw in my pre-market plan. Now it did just that. Note how it trades up, does not take any sell side. Look at the pre-market range sell side, extremely, extremely smooth. I'm targeting smooth levels in price because that's where I just know liquidity is. And the market's likely to draw there if it does the damage above. It opens and trades up. Now this is my entry mechanism, how I get into a trade. Okay. Note how this 5 minute candle closed with a large upper wick. That's a sign of weakness. So if I'm bearish based on the higher time frame narrative, and if the market opens and trades up, I want to sell it, and the first 5 minute candle closes with a large premium wick, then I can anticipate a drive above that candle's high. To fail, I just need confirmation on the 1 minute. And I get that confirmation on the 1 minute. This is how I turtle soup. This is something that I've created. just by seeing things repeat over and over and over again and watching order flow play out. So now I can go the 1 minute and look for confirmation for a drive above that high to fail. This candle opens and trades up, takes that previous 5-minute high here, but it closed below it. That's a sign of weakness. All I do is look at where the candles close, which tells me if the market is strong or weak. That's it. The following candle is a large down candle that crossed the open price over that, but did not close over it. Now, I was really interested in this idea, but because it didn't close over it, I did not take it. I really would have liked to close over that up candle. I would have taken that sell and it would have worked out beautifully. You see, I start to frame the risk here, right? And y'all know that when I frame the risk, that's when I'm looking to get into a trade. That's how I start every idea, right? So at this point in time, I see this painting as a large down candle. I note that the drive above that high failed. Now, if this candle closes on its low, I'm going to sell that up candle. That's an order block. The thing is it still closed within this gap and it didn't close over the open price of that. It doesn't have to. ICT has taught that in the 2024 mentorship. But it didn't do that, so I canceled the sell idea. You could see I was very close to putting my sell and bid order on there. And then finally, market trades up, large down candle. I'm going to sell this up candle. I'm not going to wait for that gap to form and then sell a gap because the market's high resistance. We have a lot of overlap. My stop loss is going to go above that candle's high. And what happens? Comes back. And it knocks me out. So, lesson from this trade. In high resistance conditions, it is not optimal to frame a stop of 10 handles or less. My stop loss is very, very small in high resistance conditions. And that's why it easily does something like this. Because if the market's high resistance, it's going to have deep retracements that will easily knock you out. So it does this, breaks lower. Now at this point in time, you saw how in my pre-market approach, I was indecisive, correct? Or I had two ideas going into the open. Now I tried to focus as much as I could on the sell idea because this is what the market did first. It opened and it traded up first and then gave me confirmation that it was weak by studying how the candles close. Now I saw the S&P, and the S&P at the time was relatively stronger, a lot stronger. So I thought potentially, since the market is at all-time highs, if the market drops, takes the pre-market range low right here, and the S&P still is stuck in this gap, then that could be a sign of strength. You could continue trading higher. This is where that candle closed at 10 o'clock, and I was watching how price was respecting this small gap on the 4-hour right there. And then again, I note how this candle traded down into that gap but closed above it. In my eyes, that's a sign of strength. I'm noting how this candle also traded down into it but closed above it. In my eyes, that is also a sign of strength. So I ended up buying the market on watching how it did not even trade to the midpoint of that gap and then inversed this gap. Large up candle comes in. Not really large, but up candle comes in, overlaps the down candle. I buy that, stop below the midpoint of this candle. Now at this point in time, I saw this up candle trade to this gap, get overlapped. I was thinking of selling this to find a way to get onside with the move, but I didn't. Why did I not do that? Because I had the buy idea on the back of my mind. So, I mean, this is just a mistake that I've made so many times, like way too many times for me to show up to the market and make the same damn mistake again. Like, it just does not make sense at this point. It's pretty ridiculous. So for me and my model, what do I do as the operator? Frame higher time narrative, be confident in that one idea, look for it. That's it. If I catch this move and it delivers everything that I'm looking for, bro, that's a lot of handles, right? And I'm good. That's going to cover a lot of losing trades that I've had before. So this is what my model consistently delivers. It does this over and over and over again. It's just extremely dependent on day selection. Like, it has to be a good, solid, high probability trading day with a clear draw and a lot of volatility in the overnight session that creates range. And there has to be preferably an injection of volatility. And the development of the weekly range has to be clear to me. So it's probably going to be executed in the latter half of the week, not necessarily engaging on Mondays, because Mondays is kind of like, you don't really know how the weekly range is going to paint just by looking at, or before Monday's daily candle even closes. So just the same mistake that I'm repeating. Now, obviously, I had the right idea and I sold on it. I just stopped out prematurely because the stop was framed a bit too tight. But I'm not really upset about that loss. Can I be upset about that loss? Not really, because it was what I was looking for. I timed the reversal properly and I executed on it with confidence. If I go to my annotations, intraday, this is on Thursday. Let's go to today. Daily journal. So I don't think I have any reason to doubt this would not deliver the pre-market range low, at least, regardless of if I'm right about higher time frame narrative. I don't need to be right about higher time frame narrative. I'm very confident in this idea. How I felt executing on it was how I should feel executing every trade. If it doesn't work, it's worth the risk and what I was looking for. So is it a loss? It can't be. And it ended up being a loss. So I think it'll be about it for this one. I covered about, just the raw truths, the struggles of becoming a profitable trader. I have a big decision that I'm going to make after I finish creating content for the day, putting out some new fresh content for you guys, fresh, raw, organic content from Lucas Flores. And that's it. I'm going to continue posting this content. The community is growing to almost 1,000 subscribers. Can you believe that? Pretty crazy, huh? So I'm growing. The community is growing. You're growing. We're all growing. We're all getting better. We're all moving closer towards our goals each and every day. One step at a time. That's all it is. If you're at a crossroads right now like I am, be decisive, okay? Sit down with the journal, lay out the pros and cons, let your rational mind think about it, and then feel how your soul feels about it. Feel how you intuitively feel about that, and I hope that you make the best decision for yourself. So that's going to be it for this one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.